excited that y'all are here today on this lovely day here. And, this is a brand new studio space. I mean, my goodness. Mike, can you explain some more about this, please?
Certainly I will. Yeah, no. As y'all can probably tell, this is not either of our homes, which we've been filming Show with Clayton, my sports guy. This is a brand new space. Just real briefly before we begin the episode, we'd like to briefly thank the staff at the Studio 2660 in Garland, Texas. They have a beautiful space here for us to use, and they have great facilities. So check them out. And without further ado, what you got for us, Mr. Clayton?
Well, I'll start off with last week. If y'all are wondering what happened to me last week and why Wally Sports Guy turned into like a newspaper kind of on Instagram and just posting Bible verses, well, unfortunately, on Monday, I contracted a cold. So my voice was gone. I was sneezing out the wazoo. I was coughing.
Yeah.
It was just terrible. We were supposed.
We were hoping that Clayton would be well enough so we could record with our
good friend Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan Ashley, which was supposed to be our first guest, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sadly we couldn't film last week, and when we tried to get Dylan again this week, he had a prior engagement.
Yep.
So
Yep.
we couldn't get him. So as of today,
You're the first guinea pig, technically.
Yes, the co-producer, Mr. Lividini, is in the hot seat. So Clayton's gonna ask me a couple questions about my faith, my story.
Yep.
I know how we met. We'll talk about that.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, let's not waste much time here. Mr.
Nah.
Clayton, you want to go ahead and fire away?
Yeah, I would love to go ahead and fire away. First up, a little backstory, of course, about my life. By the way, go check out my testimony video. I have it on my YouTube, Instagram, and all that.
It's the very first episode.
Yes,
Yep.
very first episode of Chill with Clayton. It was awesome, great stuff. And like I was saying, I ended up falling off the bleachers in like 7th grade. I ended up getting injured. Our student pastor, Lloyd Blank, he came and told me about Jesus. Was back in Wiley, Texas, where I was originally down in Saxe at that moment. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot of good times over there. But moving on into 7th and 8th grade year, I was getting ready to go to high school. So I used to live out by Wiley High School, which is the second high school out here in our hometown of Wiley, Texas. So I was originally wanting to be a Wiley Pirate, but since I moved, I ended up to Wiley East High School, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be a pirate. Why am I doing this again? And I'm like, God, really, you want me here out of all places?
Yeah, the Wiley's second-rate school, second banana.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Wiley East is actually, there's only 2 high schools in Wiley, High and East, which we all call them.
Yep.
Wiley East was actually a fairly recent high school. It only came to being in 2007, which, I mean, granted, almost 20 years ago. That's a long time, good Lord. But when we started going there freshman year, it was only 10 years old.
Man.
So, I mean, that's pretty crazy
That's
to think
nuts.
about it. I mean, lots of high schools, especially here in Texas, have been around for generations, right?
Dang.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of Wiley East, that's where we met.
Yeah.
We ended up meeting in Principles to Audio Video Production. That was in Texas high schools. For those of you watching that aren't from Texas,
Yep.
if you go to a public high school in Texas, you have to select a career track that you want to go into. It can be welding, education, cooking, video is one of them. That's something that you can work towards. You can think about pursuing a career in.
Most definitely.
I mean, whether you go to college or not. But yeah, video is one of those production courses. I think you called those an endorsement. It's like an early version of a major in college.
Yeah.
So yeah, we met Principals AV literally first day. It was August 2017.
Crazy.
Yeah, and literally 8 years now, we've been friends.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we honestly, didn't we meet orientation night, I think, that night?
I don't actually remember. I just remember meeting you day 1 of class, and then and then I remember I guess our friendship became closer because that same year I wrote and directed a 10-minute short called Secret Admirer. It's well, for good reason. It's kind of lost to is kind of lost to the
interwebs.
yeah, the interwebs. Yeah, you can't find it anymore. Just because I forgot to take the master file off of my school account.
Yep,
And of
yep.
course, they deleted our emails when we graduated. So
Yep. Yeah, I could give you a quick little if there are any Wiley East Raiders that watched in like class of 2021,
yep, that was
I
us.
want to shout out a couple buddies of ours, Robert, and Robert was one of our guys
Yeah.
who helped us out.
Robert Arajo,
Rajo,
David Hernandez, Devin
Hardeman.
Hardeman, and Alexa Helm. They helped us with the film. They were cast and crew.
Yep.
But yeah, if I know y'all are out there doing great things. So if you're watching this, hello.
It
Great to
actually,
see you.
it was actually pretty cool because it ended up at the Wiley Film Festival at our local theater, B&B Theaters.
Yeah, the whole reason we made it is because back in late 2010s, the Wiley ISD did like a film festival for both high schools to submit films to. We were the only submission from Wiley East to make it. And granted, our film, it was pretty terrible.
It was, honestly, it
compared to,
wasn't the
compared-
best.
Yeah. Well, I remember there was like this film that showed it was obviously from a Wiley High group.
Oh, yeah.
They had like the best cameras. It was like legit professional. And
Dude.
but look, I remember we weren't the best looking film.
No.
But we got the biggest laughs. And
Oh, yeah.
almost a standing ovation. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember what was that line?
Oh.
My neighborhood
my neighborhood has a pond. Yeah, I know. It was just something so simple, but it makes
Yeah. Well,
made everyone laugh.
Well, basically the plot of it's just like this stupid high school drama. Like I played this guy who wants his girlfriend, and I end up winning. So.
Oh,
I
yeah.
Incels
Yeah.
before they were a thing. But yeah, Clayton, I know we're kind of chewing the fat here. Why don't I know you want to get to the more faith-centered questions. So
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Anything you want to ask? Right?
So, as you all know, I wanted to do this podcast to share people's stories.
Yeah.
Thinking about guys like Joe Rogan, Sean Ryan, if you know those guys, or Alex Cooper, or whatever, because I'm getting all the boys and the girls. So, y'all pretty much have watched one of those shows. I want to know about people's testimonies. And, because we want to share y'all that this is a show that we don't mind where you come from. We do not mind where you come from at all. But the end goal for this show is for you to know more about Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, who died on the cross for all our sins.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to save you. He loves you. That's why he died on the cross for you. So, Mike, getting into that first question,
Yep.
What is your testimony and how has God impacted your life?
So I was born in New York, and as my dad's family was Catholic, that's the tradition. I was baptized when I was a baby into the Catholic Church. However, that didn't really stick because we moved down here to Texas, of course, when I was 2 years old, and my parents, they believed in Jesus. They both grew up in my dad was Catholic, my mom was Presbyterian, but I guess they didn't. They had some falling out with the church. I think it was actually something over the signing of their marriage certificate.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Like a priest at my granny's church in Fort Worth, who they've known the family for years, they wouldn't sign my mom and dad's certificate. So
Dang.
But whatever the case, that didn't play much effect in my childhood, apart from the fact that we didn't really go to church much.
Oh, yeah.
However, that changed in 2010 when I went to Spring Creek Church. It's also here in Garland.
Yes.
At the time in 2010, my parents unfortunately got divorced.
Oh.
And Spring Creek at this time had divorce care programs for both kids and adults. I guess after this divorce care program ended, they call it DC4K, Divorce Care for Kids.
Okay.
I guess one of the group leaders said, hey, they said to my mom, hey, I think Michael would really have fun in our kids group. Would you be interested in signing him up? And after my mom asked me, of course, I said, yeah, why not? Mm-hmm. And I went to Spring Creek pretty regularly for the next 7 years, and they were very...
Dang.
And, granted, Spring Creek they're not affiliated with any denomination. It's non-dom.
Yeah.
But
they played a pretty crucial part
in how I've come to learn about Jesus,
Okay.
understand, of course, his sacrifice on the cross,
Yeah.
and how we can live out his teachings in the world, right?
Okay.
So, admittedly, the whole reason I left Spring Creek, I think, is just, now that I think back, I think it was a very petty reason for me to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially what was going on circa 2017 was that there were a lot of staff changes
Oh.
at the church.
Almost. Yeah.
Mostly with student ministry. The high school pastor, a man named Simon Nampone, very
Yes.
good, very great guy.
Okay.
And the middle school pastor, who I was more close to, Travis Hill, he's actually a teacher in Mesquite ISD.
Oh, nice.
and
Very
s-
nice.
He was a teacher before he was a pastor, and then he went back to education after that.
Oh, okay.
They both left within a pretty short time frame of each other.
Probably like a couple weeks within each other. Probably.
Honestly, yeah. And that was very devastating to us. And I remember one day during a regular Wednesday service, the other pastors at the church, they gathered us into a room, and they kind of told us how both middle and high school would be restructured into one. I mean, of course, they'll still be middle and high school, but
Oh, yeah.
they'll be under one big umbrella ministry called Next Gen.
Wow.
And I was sitting there thinking, man, it's never going to be the same without Simon and Travis.
Oh, yeah. I can understand
And
that.
I just made the decision to leave.
Dang.
And obviously, I didn't make a big scene about it. I wasn't mad at anybody. I was just,
It's just.
I was thinking, like, at the time, I was like, how am I gonna grow my faith without them? But of course, it's not about the pastors. It's
No.
about your own relationship. I didn't realize. It took me a while to realize that.
Yeah.
So about 7 years go by, and in that time period, I didn't really affiliate myself with the church. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been invited to a few
Like
young
Wednesday
adult-
nights.
yeah, especially after high school. I was invited to some young adult groups that Clayton actually invited me to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about what was that one?
It was called
Cross?
it was called the Commons.
Yeah, it was at his church in Wiley, the Cross Church.
Cross Church, or formerly known as First Baptist Wiley.
Yeah, and I went to another church called First Baptist Rowlett with Dylan years ago, and they were all nice people. Don't get me wrong, but it's just it didn't feel the same,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
it just something wasn't right.
I mean, I can completely agree with you on some of those, because when Lloyd left our church, which that was my senior year, if I'm correct, yeah, senior year, a new pastor stepped in, and there was a lot of things that unfortunately is,
Yeah.
but we had like this. Sorry if I go sports reference mode on people, but if you remember, in the 90s, the Dallas Cowboys were the Super Bowl champions. It was Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin. We had the big three at our church that everybody absolutely loved. It was Lloyd Blank, Hannah Knight, who is now out in Georgia with her husband Cody, so pretty cool.
What does she do?
She is,
or what was she at the church?
she was our girls minister.
Okay.
She came in 2017 with pretty much most of us came in 2017 as the new ninth graders came
Right.
in and eighth graders.
Yeah.
Um,
and then who was the last of the big three?
Loudon Richardson, who lives out in Alabama right now.
And
So
and what did he do?
he was our junior high pastor.
Okay.
He was the new junior high pastor.
Yeah.
So Lloyd kind of had mainly 9 through 12, while Loudon had 7 through 8. But that's besides the point. But I kind of had that same feeling that you did when your two pastors left. It's
Yeah, and it wasn't just me. I'm sure everyone felt that
oh yeah,
they pretty much made the program. What would be the point of
yeah,
doing? And I actually, I talked with some other folks recently who went to Spring Creek with me. They also kind of left around that time.
oh yeah.
So I certainly wasn't the only one. But as you know, between 2017 and 2024, I graduate high school, go on to college.
Yep.
UNT, I'm at. I know I explained that.
In
I know, like my college career.
in the intro.
I don't need to go into that too much here, but I sort of realized that the reason I'm not feeling any connection to God is, well, I guess simply put, like, I guess I didn't want to admit I was too prideful to
Yeah.
admit that I had some sin to deal with.
Yeah.
I guess mostly dealing with lust and lusting after women when that
Yeah.
that shouldn't have been the focus of my life.
No.
I mean, I didn't do anything crazy. It's just I guess it was some sort of longing for a girlfriend that
Yep.
manifested in
Yeah.
some like mostly kind of mental ways, like complaining.
I think mainly the reason that happens with that is because we're all going through puberty at that moment in time. Like,
Well, this was after high school, like when puberty was
okay,
all pretty much done.
True.
So I think it was, when you go to college, it's a big change for most young people.
then you're independent. You're on your own.
And yes, freedom is a great thing. Like you can.
Oh, yeah.
Like once you realize, you can go to McDonald's whenever you want.
Oh yeah.
That's a great feeling. But at the same time, that same responsibility you
Yep.
have as an adult now, as a new college student away from mom and dad,
Oh, most definitely.
is that carries a big responsibility. You
Yeah.
have to manage your time wisely, and you have to do. You have to take care of chores, laundry,
Yep.
cleaning trash, things like that. I thought like a new environment would kind of
Almost like be a reset.
a reset, but that wasn't the case. Sometimes sin like that, like lust, gluttony. I also dealt
Oh,
with
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
eating fast food to deal with my emotions. That was another thing. It doesn't go away
No.
if you don't manage it. It will follow you. You're craving for, fast food at night. You're craving,
Yep.
to go on a dating app and swipe right on women, whatever.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
and it really took me until last year when I realized, okay, man, this is killing me.
Yeah.
Like, not in the sense that I had a big health scare. I realize, this isn't working, and, I'm going to just drive myself crazy if I keep doing this. So
Yeah.
I go back to Spring Creek 7 years later, and Pastor Keith Stewart, he's the senior pastor. He's been there for its entire history ever since it was founded in 1990.
Dang.
Yeah, long time. And he's still here, not going anywhere for a while. Just his sermon really kind of got to me. And I was like, and I said, I shook his hand at the end of the sermon. I said, "Thank you, Pastor Keith. I'm really not in a great spot right now, but I think your sermon just kind of gave me just the right roadmap to follow
Yeah.
Jesus, right?"
Yep.
And,
Yep.
But let's not kid ourselves. That wasn't just the aha moment, because to this
It's-
day, even I still struggle with, mostly at this point, just the angel and the devil on your shoulder. Right? Should I do? Should I not? Should I do? Should I not?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
In terms of food, dating apps, all that. But yeah, and I guess another thing that made me realize God's favor in my life is November of 2022. My dad has a widowmaker heart attack, and almost killed him.
Oh my gosh.
He almost died. And the thing about widowmakers is that, there's a reason they're called a widowmaker, right?
Yeah.
It blocks the central artery of the heart so much so that that's it, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I kid you not. It was like late December. I got a call from my mom and my Aunt Lynn at 3 in the morning.
Mm.
My Aunt Lynn is my dad's sister.
Okay.
That they're going to take him off life support.
Oh,
They're going to give him last rites. So we rushed down to the hospital at Baylor Scott and White, downtown Dallas. The chaplain gives us last rites. I spend what I thought was my dad's last moments with him, alone. Everyone from New York, all our family, like his parents, siblings, their spouses, my cousins, all that,
Yeah.
grandparents.
Yeah.
We all gather on the phone from New York to say their goodbyes, and as soon as they turn the machine off, he starts snoring. That's a Craig Lividini staple right there. And then the first words out of his mouth after a few minutes, it's like we perk up. Like, what's going on?
It's like,
Tell Mr. Garcia he's a good guy. That was his boss at the time, because he was like at
Okay.
middle school in Forney.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
oh my God. And then, lo and behold, New Year's Eve of 2022, he made it out of the hospital alive, and he's still here. Still here.
Yep.
And
It's
something is just like, God, he's a lapsed Catholic. Why did you decide? Like, how did you save him? That's just something I'll never know, but I'll just be grateful for it. How God actually works in our lives, that just miracles we'll never be able to comprehend. I mean,
yeah.
I'm thankful for it every single day that my dad is still here, to this very day. But
It's His grace and mercy that is just
yeah,
abounding, and it's amazing. So, moving on, I want to ask you your favorite Bible story and just some life advice for our audience today who are listening. And
well, so in terms of actual life advice I would have for y'all, it's one thing to say you're a Christian. It's another thing to do just do the opposite of what Christ calls us to do.
it's about
And look, I'm no saint. I mean, I've been a hypocrite as a Christian before. I'm sure
Mhm.
many of us have. But
fortunately.
As a Christian, this world is messed up. It's a crazy world, and
It is.
I mean, as much good there is in the world, there's a whole lot of bad.
True.
And we have to be the light into the world, as Christ calls us. But we can't be the light unless we actively strive to be like Christ. Now, this doesn't mean you have to constantly work to get to heaven, because that's not what Christianity is about.
Mm-hmm.
But
Can't cover the light.
what?
Can't cover the light.
Yeah, no. I mean, faith without works is dead. I mean, if you don't take responsibility for yourself, if you don't help those in need, maybe your family members that might be elderly or disabled, if you take care of your regular chores, if you don't do your job correctly, if you don't, if you smoke, if you cuss, if you do drugs, that's not a holy life. And of course, I'm not saying it'll be perfect, because it won't. We're still going to mess up.
Oh, most definitely.
But even if it's just a centimeter towards Christ, it's still better than taking yourself just a whole foot backwards.
Exactly. And
just if I can distill it down in just a sentence, just here's what I'd say: be good, be well, and live like Christ.
dang. Dang, that sounded pretty good. It's
Yeah.
all about the heart posture, folks. It's all about the heart
all
posture.
about what's in here, man.
So,
If your heart's empty, you don't have any love to give.
exactly.
But yeah, that's all I got. Clayton?
Yeah. So,
I just want to say thank you very much for having me on. I mean, we didn't plan for this. I was going to come on actually much later in the show, but yeah, God had other plans. But
He does.
Yeah, no, Clayton, I know we have to wrap up, so I'll let you do your.
yeah, most definitely, man. But, ladies and gentlemen, I know this thing was a hodgepodge of an episode. So,
Don't-
believe me,
we will
it's
get
going
better.
to get better.
We will get better. Yeah.
So, I do have guests lined up coming up very soon.
Yeah.
Our buddy Dylan Ashley should be our next guest very soon.
Yeah. Although
hopefully.
we won't have another guest episode until I think about 2 weeks, because I know you'll be out.
Yep, I will be out helping our church with student camp.
Yeah,
So,
Cross Church. Yeah.
yep, cross church student camp. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, but in the meantime, please, I mean, if you found this episode meaningful, if you found my testimony to be something of value, please, share this episode with your friends and family,
Most definitely.
and give Clayton's Clayton YouTube channel, go like and subscribe over there, because it will be posted to YouTube.
Yep,
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcast,
most definitely.
and yeah.
And now for Friday's verse of the day. This is from John chapter 4, verses 13 and 14. Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water, welling up to eternal life." Ladies and gentlemen, I hope y'all enjoy this Chili Clayton episode. Like Mike said, remember to like and subscribe, give us a follow on Apple Podcasts, share this with your friends and family. And man, oh man.
Do you mind if I join you with the tagline?
Well, I mean, yeah, let's go right ahead. So,
And again, thank you all for tuning in. I'm very glad to be here on this episode with Clayton, but
keep Jesus first.
don't mess with Texas.
God bless, and yeehaw!